Dr. Lee Hannah stood in the bright white lab under Seoul, her eyes on the small metal device on the table. 5 years of work had led to this moment. The device looked simple, a silver cube with blue lights, but it could change everything.
Power levels at 90%, said Kim Juno.
He sat at his computer, watching numbers rise on the screen. His fingers moved fast over the keys, making small changes.
Good. Keep it steady, Hannah said.
She pulled her black hair into a tight bun. We need this test done before the aliens land. 2 months ago, ships had appeared in Earth's sky. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council. They said they came in peace, to welcome Earth to the wider universe.
But Hannah and her team knew better.
They had watched the Council's ships scan Earth, mapping its resources. They think we're simple, Park Do-hyun said, checking cables that ran from the cube to larger machines along the wall. They see our rockets and think we're children playing with toys.
Hannah nodded. And that's our edge. They don't know what we've been building.
The world above thought Hannah's team worked on new energy sources.
Even most of the government didn't know the truth.
Only the highest leaders knew that 5 years ago, Hannah had found a way to bend space itself. The council meeting is in 3 hours, Yoon Ji-ho said, looking at his watch. Their ships will land soon.
Hannah took a deep breath.
Then we finish this now.
The quantum bridge was not Earth's first attempt at faster-than-light travel.
But it was the first to work. Instead of trying to move faster than light, it created a bridge between 2 points in space. Step through one side, come out the other, no matter how far apart they were. Starting test sequence, Juno announced.
The lab hummed louder. Lights dimmed as power flowed to the cube. Blue light grew brighter, spilling onto the white floor. Hannah picked up an apple from her desk. Simple test. Let's see if it moves from platform A to platform B.
She placed the apple on a small plate next to the cube.
Do-hyun typed commands into his tablet.
The blue light flashed, so bright everyone covered their eyes.
When they looked again, the apple was gone. Check platform B, Hannah ordered. Across the room, on another plate next to an identical cube, sat the apple.
The team stood in silence, then burst into cheers.
Juno hugged Do-hyun. Ji-ho pumped his fist in the air. Hannah didn't cheer. She walked to platform B and picked up the apple. She cut it open with a small knife. The inside looked normal.
It worked, she said quietly.
Run full tests on the apple. Make sure it's the same at the atomic level. While her team worked, Hannah went to her office.
On her screen was a live feed from the space station. 3 large council ships hung in orbit, shining in the sunlight. Smaller ships were preparing to land.
Her phone rang. It was General Choi. The aliens are making their final approach, he said.
Their main ship lands in Seoul in 2 hours.
Are you ready?
We just completed our first successful test, Hannah replied. The quantum bridge works for small objects.
We need more tests before we try anything larger.
You may not have time, the general said. Our spies report the council ships have weapons locked on major cities.
They're saying nice things, but they're ready to attack. Hannah frowned. They think we're no threat. Why attack? Something has them nervous. Their ships detected energy spikes from your lab during previous tests.
They're asking questions about unusual power usage. A cold feeling spread through Hannah's chest.
So they know we're hiding something.
Yes. Be careful. If they find the quantum bridge.
They won't, Hannah promised. We'll be ready.
When she returned to the lab, her team had results.
The apple is perfect, Juno reported. Every atom in the right place. Good. Let's try something bigger. Hannah pointed to a metal box on a shelf. That contains plant samples. Send it through. The test worked perfectly. The box vanished from one platform and appeared on the other.
We need to hide this technology, Hannah told her team.
The council can't know what we have. They think we're centuries behind them. Let's keep them thinking that.
As she spoke, alarms blared.
Red lights flashed. Energy spike. Juno shouted. The system is drawing too much power.
Do-Hyen rushed to his station.
Something's wrong. The bridge is activating on its own.
Blue light filled the room, growing brighter. The air seemed to bend.
Shut it down. Hannah ordered. I can't. Juno's fingers flew over his keyboard. It's like something is pulling from the other side.
Suddenly, the light vanished.
The lab went quiet.
On platform B, where nothing had been before, stood a small metal object. It blinked with green lights.
What is that? Jiho asked, moving closer. Hannah pulled him back. Don't touch it. I think it's council technology.
The object projected a hologram, a star map. And at its center, blinking red, was Earth.
They know, Hannah whispered. They know what we've built.
The council ship landed in Seoul Olympic Park under gray skies.
Its smooth silver surface shone even without sunlight. Crowds gathered behind barriers, watching as the door opened. Out walked 3 aliens, tall beings with blue-tinted skin and 4 arms each.
Dr. Lee Hannah watched from a small room in a building across the park. On her tablet, she could see and hear everything.
People of Earth, said the tallest alien in perfect Korean, I am Ambassador Tech. We welcome you to the galactic community.
The crowd cheered.
Cameras flashed.
This was the moment humanity had dreamed of for centuries, first contact with intelligent life. But in her hidden lab beneath the city, Hannah knew better. They found our energy signature, she told her team.
The device they left in our lab is a tracker. They know we have the quantum bridge. Kim Juno looked up from his computer. Can we block the signal?
Too late, Park Do-Hyen said.
Look at these readings. Their ships are scanning the whole city. They're looking for our lab. On Hannah's tablet, the meeting continued. President Kong shook hands with Ambassador Tech. Smiles all around. But Hannah noticed something strange, a 4th alien had joined them. This one wore armor instead of flowing robes. Who's that? She asked. Yoon Jiho zoomed in on the image.
Military, by the look of it.
That's not a diplomatic uniform.
The armored alien leaned close to Ambassador Tech, whispering something.
Tech's smile disappeared. Turn up the audio, Hannah ordered.
Energy readings matched the signature, the military alien was saying. They have quantum technology, Ambassador.
They've been hiding it. Tech looked shocked. Are you certain, Commander NAK? Yes.
Our sensors detected another test just hours ago.
These humans are not the primitives they appear to be. Hannah's heart raced. They know. We need to move now. As if on cue, alarms blared through the lab.
On Hannah's tablet, the peaceful scene in the park had changed completely.
Commander NAK had pushed Ambassador Tech aside and was pointing at President Kong.
Your deception ends now, NAK shouted. Surrender your quantum technology or face the consequences.
The president looked confused. I don't know what you're talking about.
NAK raised his hand, and a small device appeared in it.
He pressed a button. Across Seoul, explosions rocked the city.
On her tablet, Hannah watched in horror as council ships appeared in the sky, firing energy weapons at government buildings.
They're attacking. Jiho shouted. The lab shook as something exploded above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. They're targeting us, Do-Hyen said. They must have found our location. Hannah made a quick decision. Load the emergency coordinates into the quantum bridge. Now. Juno typed frantically. Where are we going? Not us, Hannah said. Them.
She pointed to her tablet, where more council ships were descending over Seoul. Target the main battleship.
You want to teleport their ship? Do-Hyen asked, eyes wide. We've never moved anything that big. We don't have a choice, Hannah said.
Another explosion rocked the lab, closer this time.
The coordinates are already programmed. Activate the bridge. Juno hit the final key.
The quantum bridge hummed to life, drawing massive power.
The lights in the lab dimmed, then went out completely.
Only the blue glow of the bridge lit their faces.
It's working! Jiho shouted over the noise. Power levels at maximum.
On the tablet, now running on battery, they watched as a shimmering blue field surrounded one of the Council battleships. The ship seemed to waver, like a mirage in the desert. Then, in a flash of light, it vanished.
Did it work? Do-Hyun asked.
Where did we send it?
Hannah switched the tablet view to a space feed.
Near the sun, a small dot appeared suddenly. The battleship. It hovered for just a moment before the sun's intense heat began to melt its hull.
It worked, Hannah whispered. The lab door burst open.
Soldiers in Council armor rushed in, weapons raised.
Don't move, they shouted. Hannah looked at Juno and nodded. He pressed another button.
The quantum bridge flared again. This time, the blue field surrounded the soldiers. They screamed as they disappeared.
Where did you send them? Jiho asked. Low orbit, Hannah replied. Without suits. More explosions shook the building above.
The ceiling was starting to crack.
We can't stay here, Hannah said.
Prepare the portable bridge.
We need to evacuate.
Do-Hyun pulled a smaller version of the quantum bridge from a secure case. It looked like a silver backpack with a small control panel.
Everyone gather close, Hannah ordered.
Her team huddled around her as she strapped on the device.
This is going to be rough.
Outside the lab, they could hear more Council soldiers approaching.
Where are we going? Juno asked. Hannah entered coordinates on the portable bridge. Somewhere they won't find us easily. Our backup facility in the mountains.
The door began to melt under alien weapons fire. Hold on to each other, Hannah said. As the door gave way and Council soldiers poured in, blue light enveloped Hannah and her team.
When the light faded, the soldiers found an empty lab and a smoldering quantum bridge, programmed to destroy itself after use. Above Seoul, more Council ships disappeared, reappearing briefly near the sun before being destroyed.
Earth's secret weapon had been revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the quiet town of Millbrook, where shadows danced between aging street lamps, Detective Sarah Collins stood motionless at the edge of a crime scene. The night was heavy with tension, and the cool autumn wind whispered secrets through bare tree branches. Another victim had fallen, and this time, the killer had left something different, a cryptic symbol carved into the victim's jacket. The young detective traced her fingers along the edge of the mysterious marking, her keen eyes absorbing every minute detail. This wasn't just another random murder, this was calculated, planned with a precision that sent chills down her spine. The forensic team moved quietly around her, collecting evidence, their white suits creating ghostly shapes against the dark background. Jack Rodriguez, her partner of 5 years, approached with a steaming cup of coffee. His weathered face showed years of investigating the darkest corners of human nature. This isn't like the other murders, he muttered, handing her the coffee. Sarah nodded, her mind already racing through connections and potential leads. The symbol looked ancient, almost ritualistic.
It wasn't something you'd find in typical criminal handbooks or psychiatric profiles.
This suggested the killer was educated, perhaps even scholarly, with a deep understanding of symbols and their hidden meanings. Each murder was becoming more than just a crime, it was turning into a complex puzzle waiting to be solved. Back at the police station, Sarah spread photographs and evidence across her cluttered desk. Red strings connected different pieces of information, creating a web of potential connections.
Witnesses from previous crime scenes had mentioned seeing a tall, slim figure wearing a dark coat, but descriptions were frustratingly vague.
Her computer screen flickered with background checks and criminal records. Something felt off about the entire investigation. The killer seemed to be playing a game, leaving deliberate clues, almost daring the police to catch them. It was like a twisted chess match where human lives were the pawns. Late into the night, Sarah reviewed case files. The victims seemed unconnected, different ages, backgrounds, professions. Yet something linked them, a thread so thin it was almost invisible. A university professor, a local shop owner, a taxi driver, what could possibly connect such diverse individuals? She discovered a pattern buried deep in municipal records. Each victim had, at some point in their past, been connected to a small research project conducted 15 years ago at the local university. A project so obscure that most records had been deleted or lost. This was no coincidence. Jack brought additional files from the archives, his massive frame casting a shadow over her desk. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a faded document. A name stood out: Dr. Eleanor Marsh, the lead researcher of that forgotten project. She had disappeared years ago, her whereabouts unknown. The investigation was shifting. What started as a murder hunt was transforming into something more complex, more dangerous. Sarah could feel the killer was always one step ahead, watching, waiting, planning their next move. The symbol was a message, a challenge thrown directly at law enforcement. As dawn broke, casting soft light through the station's dusty windows, Sarah made a decision. They would dig deeper into Dr. Marsh's background. Something told her that the key to understanding these murders lay in understanding that long-forgotten research project. The hunt was just beginning, and the killer was waiting to die in the vast darkness of space. A rebellion was brewing. The Galactic Federation, once a beacon of hope and unity, had become a tyrannical regime that crushed the dreams of countless star systems. On the small mining planet of Zeta 9, a young mechanic named Aria discovered a secret that would change everything. Aria had always been different. While other workers accepted their grueling life in the mining colonies, she dreamed of freedom. Her hands, calloused from years of repairing starship engines, held more than just tools, they held a spark of rebellion. One night, while working late in the maintenance hub, she uncovered encrypted communications that revealed the Federation's darkest plans. They were systematically eliminating entire populations on outer rim planets, replacing them with robotic workforce controlled by Central Command. These weren't just workers, they were slaves to a system that valued efficiency over life. Her friend Marcus, a former Federation soldier who had witnessed the brutality firsthand, helped her decode the messages. Together, they realized that the resistance movement, which had been scattered and weak, could become something more. They had information that could ignite a revolution. Aria began to spread the truth quietly. Through underground communication networks, encrypted messages, and carefully planned meetings, she connected with other discontented workers and ex-military personnel. Each person who heard the truth became a potential ally. The Federation didn't take kindly to resistance. They sent enforcement squadrons to crush any hint of rebellion. But this only made people angrier. On multiple planets, workers started small acts of sabotage. Communication networks went down. Supply lines were disrupted. The machines that once served the Federation now became tools of resistance. Marcus used his military training to help organize these scattered groups. He taught them how to fight, how to survive, and most importantly, how to remain undetected. Their network grew from hundreds to thousands, spanning multiple star systems. Aria's breakthrough came when she discovered a way to hack the Federation's central control systems. With Marcus's help, they could now disable robotic workers, redirect military resources, and create chaos in the Federation's carefully constructed infrastructure. The first major uprising happened on Zeta 9. Workers, armed with makeshift weapons and a burning desire for freedom, overwhelmed the local Federation garrison. Their victory was small but significant. It proved that the Federation was not invincible. News of the rebellion spread like wildfire. More planets joined the uprising. Some fought with weapons, others with sophisticated technological warfare. The Federation found itself fighting on multiple fronts, stretched thin and increasingly vulnerable. Aria became a symbol of hope. Her face appeared on underground communication channels, inspiring others to resist. She wasn't just fighting against something, she was fighting for a future where people could choose their own destiny. The Federation tried to hunt her down. They sent their best trackers and most advanced hunter-killer drones. But Aria was always one step ahead, using her technical skills and Marcus's strategic planning to evade capture. As the rebellion grew, so did its complexity. It wasn't just about fighting the Federation anymore. They needed to create a new system, a new way of governance that respected individual freedoms and celebrated diversity. Marcus often reminded Arya that revolutions are won not just on battlefields, but in the hearts and minds of people. Every person they convinced, every system they liberated, was a victory. The galaxy watched and waited. Some planets remained neutral, some secretly supported the rebellion, while others remained loyal to the Federation. But everyone knew that something fundamental was changing. Arya and Marcus knew their fight was far from over. The Federation was powerful, with resources that could crush most rebellions. But they had something more powerful: hope, determination, and a vision of a free galaxy. Their small rebellion on Zeta 9 had become a galactic uprising, a testament to the power of ordinary people standing up against oppression. The stars themselves seemed to be watching, waiting to see how this cosmic battle would unfold. The revolution had begun, and there was no turning back. In the vast emptiness of space, a desperate battle raged between the remnants of the old Galactic Federation and the rising new Galactic Order. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of her starship, her weathered hands gripping the control panel as streams of enemy ships swarmed around her. The new Galactic Order had emerged from the shadows, led by a mysterious figure known only as the Architect. Their vision was simple yet terrifying: complete control of every known star system. They moved with mechanical precision, crushing resistance with ruthless efficiency. Elena's fleet was small but determined. They were the last hope for millions of planetary citizens who feared the coming darkness. Her crew was a mix of veterans and young soldiers, each one knowing that this might be their final mission. The battle unfolded like a deadly dance. Laser beams cut through the darkness, explosions bloomed like silent flowers in the void of space. Ships twisted and turned, some exploding into brilliant fragments, others narrowly escaping destruction. The Architect watched from a massive command ship, its black hull absorbing light like a cosmic void. Every movement was calculated, every strategy mapped out with cold mathematical precision. Humanity was just a piece on a galactic chessboard, and the Architect was the ultimate player. Elena knew their chances were slim. Intelligence reports suggested the new Galactic Order had technology beyond anything they had ever seen. Weapon systems that could destroy entire planets, stealth technology that made their ships almost invisible, and AI systems that could predict enemy movements with frightening accuracy. Her second-in-command, Marcus Chen, brought up a holographic map showing their strategic position. Red markers indicated enemy ships, blue markers showed their own dwindling forces. The picture was grim. They were outnumbered and outgunned. "We're not going down without a fight," Elena muttered, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. A young communications officer suddenly shouted, "Commander! We're receiving a transmission from the Architect." The main screen flickered to life. A figure dressed in sleek black armor appeared, face hidden behind a reflective mask. The voice was smooth, almost pleasant, with an underlying tone of absolute certainty. "Commander Reyes," the Architect spoke, "surrender is the most logical choice. Your resistance is futile." Elena's response was swift and direct. "We will never surrender to tyranny." The transmission ended. Moments later, a massive energy wave swept across their fleet, disabling several ships in an instant. The battle was reaching its critical point. Small fighter squadrons darted between massive battleships, each pilot knowing their survival was unlikely. They were buying time for evacuation, time for hope, time for a potential counterattack. Marcus leaned close to Elena. "We have one last strategy. It's risky, but it might work." Their plan was audacious. They would use their remaining ships to create a quantum disruption field, potentially breaking the new Galactic Order's communication and navigation systems. It was a desperate move that might save millions, or might simply result in their complete destruction. As the final moments approached, Elena thought about her home planet, about the billions of people who were counting on them. This wasn't just a military mission, this was about preserving human freedom, about resisting total control. The quantum disruption weapon charged. Enemy ships converged, sensing something significant was about to happen. The tension was electric, every second feeling like an eternity. In that moment, suspended between potential victory and certain defeat, humanity's fate hung in the balance. The new galactic order's perfect, controlled universe was about to be challenged by the most unpredictable force in existence: human determination. With a blinding flash that could be seen across multiple star systems, the final act of resistance began.